Hello everyone, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Abe.
And I'm Amanda.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Josh too.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat from 2003.
Hi, Mrs. Kwan. Hi. Thanks for babysitting on such short notice. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Conrad, Sally, remember the rules. No playing ball in the house, no fighting, no answering the phone, city morgue, and absolutely no one sets foot in the living room or else.
Hit me!
This holiday season.
What was that?
Universal Pictures, DreamWorks Pictures, and Imagine Entertainment invite you to the ultimate house party.
Let's get this party started!
From Brian Grazer, the producer of The Grinch, Mike Myers.
This cat is currently in violation of 17 of your mother's rules. 18!
The Cat in the Hat.
Humana, humana, humana. Who is this?
That's my mom.
Awkward.
The Cat in the Hat stars Mike Myers, Alec Baldwin, Dakota Fanning, Spencer Breslin, and directed by Bo Welch. The plot of The Cat in the Hat is basically, if you read the classic Dr. Seuss book, you already know what the plot of this movie is. It practically does the same, it practically takes the basic premise of the book and does quite a few things different. Well, let's just get on to my positives or negatives, shall we? What are my positives with The Cat in the Hat? Honestly, for me, one of my positives is definitely the set design and the set direction by Bo Welch. And, I would say it looks pretty good. Not bad. So I think it does capture the Dr. Seuss vibe quite a bit. In fact, it's bright and colorful, which is something I wanted out of the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. Because I didn't got that in that movie. Everything in that movie was desaturated, and then this one, it's bright and colorful. The sets are very much in style with Dr. Seuss. Which is so far the one positive I'll give to these movies so far is that the sets, basically, and/or animation, lends itself to the world of Dr. Seuss pretty well, actually. In some areas, just with the set design or the animation. And also, I honestly think the orchestration music, like the, stuff that was composed for this film, honestly wasn't that bad. I think it does sound very much like a Dr. Seuss movie score. And honestly, for me, those are my only positives. What are my negatives with The Cat in the Hat? Honestly, for me, first of all, the biggest negative is the story. Like, mostly the script. Like, first of all, they basically took the Dr. Seuss, they basically took the stuff of The Cat in the Hat, which was really the message in that was really about, sometimes a little rule breaking is okay as long as it never goes too far, which you never really hear that now these days. And also in the book, the main child characters were just normal kids and that. And basically, this movie, what they did was, first of all, they added much more morals, which I kind there was so many different stuff they threw into this movie that I was kind of confused by. They lost me at times. And even then, it didn't seem like they cared about their own messaging. They tried to introduce family conflicts and that without really showing family conflicts at all. Also, they changed the stuff up with the kids. Basically, they're no longer normal kids. You got Dakota Fanning as Sally, and Spencer Breslin as Conrad, and basically they're now you got Conrad here, who is a massive who's massively out of control, like a massively out of control rule breaker, and then you got, you know, Sally, who is a massive control freak, whereas in the original story they were just normal kids, and that's it. And I think the film is the point of that. Also, there's just so much other stuff with the writing. Like, first of all, the obvious cash-ins. They tried to cash it, they tried to sell out this movie within its own script. Like, for example, you got scenes of, like you got a moment in which it's, like the house in that has been transformed into the world of Cat in the Hat, and it's all a mess and that, and they go on to this, like, which, first of all, already, that just, like, it's like they're trying to make it look like one of the Dr. Seuss attractions at Universal Studios. In fact, knowing that, they actually literally make that selling point. It's like, this is amazing! It's like riding an amusement park! And you got Mike Myers like, you mean like at Universal Studios? Cha-ching! Also, another selling point that they tried to do is, like, they have this upbeat, you know, kind of pop tune, which, again, you know, I'll get to that in a little bit as far as my other negatives with that stuff. And you have Mike Myers basically make that selling point, too. It's like, we even worked in an upbeat pop tune for the soundtrack. That's important. Like, they're not even trying to be subtle about it. They don't seem to understand subtlety. And this is just shows that this movie was just an obvious cash grab. Nothing more. Also, other problems I have with the writing, you know, again, everything they do in this movie makes the film dated. Honestly, not only do I think it feels like a movie that came out in 2000, like the early 2000s, I think it makes it feel like the film has come out even earlier than that, like the 90s. It feels like a 90s movie and not a good 90s movie. And it just feels really dated. Like, this movie has not aged well. In fact, I don't think it really even aged well when it first came out. Also, the writing as far as the humor is horrendous. The humor in this movie is immature, it's childish, and knowing that, it's inappropriate too. Like, there's a lot of fart jokes, there's a lot of even jokes like that. You got Mike Myers being like in a certain scenes, like, honey, it was ruined when she bought it. Mm-hmm, yeah. What the fuck? And knowing that they also tried to appeal to every single demographic possible in this movie. In fact, you even got some sexual stuff in there, too. Like, and oh, and also dirty humor as well. Like, no joke, there's a dick innuendo joke in this movie. And it's not a subtle dick innuendo joke. Also, most of the acting is not good either. Like, for example, like, especially from our two main leads, it's like, you know, especially from Dakota Fanning and Spencer Breslin, it's like, so unemotional. It's like, this was all Sally's fault. You know, it's like that throughout the whole movie. And even when they do eventually learn the life lesson in that, they still sound so unemotional in that. Also, even other actors that I heard are good in other stuff, like Mike Myers. And I know Mike Myers could be a funny actor. You know, I thought he was funny in Shrek. He wasn't in here. In fact, Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat, you know, was just wrong casting. Knowing that, you know, knowing that the script doesn't help him either. Plus, the costume, you know, the one thing I would say about the Jim Carrey Grinch movie is that the costume for Jim Carrey and the makeup was amazing. And knowing that he had so much, you know, energy you know, to basically work with the costume. This, not so much. Like, seriously, every time I was watching it, like, watching Mike Myers in the costume and that, it seriously looked like, you know, he was restrained by, like, no joke, he was, like, very, like, it seemed like the costume was very stiff, and had not much, you know, room for movement, and that, knowing that he looked like he was just about ready to pass out at any moment. Like, no joke. And honestly, you know, I don't blame Mike Myers for this, necessarily. Again, just wrong casting, plus, with the bad script, and that, and the studio decisions probably, you know, I think that didn't really help him at all. In fact, again, I don't blame any of these actors, necessarily. You know, I definitely think it was poor direction and, you know, a poor script. Also, another negative I have, even though I said the set design was good for the most part, I think that could get a little extreme too. Like, it's too bright, it's too vivid, you know. You know, the set design seemed really extreme. Also, some of the effects, like the digital effects they throw in, aren't that good. Like, they made the fish digital, and you could clearly tell it's a digital effect. You know, and there's other stuff too, like there's a racially offensive stereotype. I was really offended by this character. It's a babysitter by the name of Mrs. Kwan, portrayed by Amy Hill. And yeah, it's just like obvious racially offensive stereotype in a Dr. Seuss movie. But with that said, I'm going to give Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat a 1.5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, for me, this movie's garbage. It's pure garbage, you know. Like, I enjoyed nothing from this movie necessarily. And the weird thing was, this was a movie I liked as a kid. I liked this movie as a kid. I saw it in the theater. I liked it. Thankfully, I've developed a brain since then. Well, I already had a brain back then, but I've developed even a, you know, much more intelligent brain since then, I gotta say. And, yeah, it's just, you know, and every time I see one of these Dr. Seuss movies, you know, I just kind of feel like this one in particular, I'm like, I just want to go in the corner and just cry. I just want to cry. You know? And you know what, I gotta say, nobody should be checking this movie out. Nobody. You know? If you're a parent, and you have a family, and kids, stay clear away from this movie. It's not child friendly, really, so you're not going to get even that with it, you know. But overall, it just wasn't entertaining. Nothing like that. The most you could probably get out of it is the set design, but other than that, that's it. And even that could be a bit extreme, like I mentioned. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and if you excuse me, I'm just going to head over here to this corner to cry.